This is Kerwin Rae, a brilliant motivational speaker and coach with more than 1 million followers. But recently, his family shared a shattering update on social media. His sudden passing in October 2024 was a devastating shock to countless people whose lives he touched through his powerful teachings on mindset, motivation, and parenting. As a father and mentor, Kerwin was passionate about helping families thrive. While we come to terms with his loss, his legacy lives on. And today, I want to celebrate that by sharing his most impactful parenting principles, steps to help you crush your 2025 family goals. And make sure you don't miss number 4. This is a mindset shift that could completely change how you parent. Kerwin Rae wasn't just a motivational speaker, he was a transformative force in personal development, guiding parents and individuals to become the best versions of themselves. Known for his no-nonsense approach to parenting, emotional intelligence and leadership, Kerwin taught families how to communicate effectively and raise resilient, confident kids. His intentional approach to parenting has inspired thousands of families, so I want to share his insights so that it might continue to inspire. If you've got a favourite quote or memory of Kerwin, I would love you to pop it in the comments below. When it comes to parenting, one of Kerwin Rae's core philosophies was to treat your children as integral members of a team. He emphasised using leadership language, a mindset shift where instead of dealing with your child, you see them as a collaborator in the family. In one of his talks, Kerwin shared this profound insight.
Like we are constantly talking about, we're doing this as a team. And so I use a lot of leadership language. I use a lot of team language. And so he knows very well that we are in a team together and that life is a team sport.
He believed this approach fosters cooperation and helps children learn the importance of their participation in family life. Kerwin also highlighted the importance of teaching effective communication. In his words,
the more I learn how to communicate with him, the more I'm teaching him how to communicate. The more I'm teaching him how to engage in a dialogue, the more I'm teaching him how to take responsibility when he makes a mistake.
By engaging in honest, empathetic conversations, you're not just solving immediate problems, you're modelling the skills your children need for life. Building on that foundation, Kerwin emphasised that communication alone isn't enough. How we manage our emotions sets the tone for how our children learn to handle theirs. Kerwin often said that the number 1 skill a parent needs to pass on to their child is emotional regulation. Why? Because children learn how to manage their emotions by watching us. When parents react to a meltdown with yelling or frustration, they're inadvertently teaching their child that their emotions are unsafe. Instead, Kerwin advocated for demonstrating calmness, even in the most chaotic of moments.
For those of you who have seen Noah, he is the most hardy, resilient little guy because when he goes into meltdown, and he can go into meltdown for the craziest of reasons, I don't yell at him, I don't scream at him, I hold him. And when I hold him, I breathe. I demonstrate to him when he's in meltdown how to regulate. So rather than me compounding the fact that he doesn't feel safe, I show him through my own behaviours how to regulate.
This simple yet powerful act teaches children that it's okay to feel big emotions and, more importantly, how to work through them. Kerwin also warned against creating environments where children feel unsafe, emphasising that resilience comes not from forcing independence, but by fostering a sense of safety and connection. This focus on emotional intelligence flows naturally into the importance of setting clear but loving boundaries, which we'll cover next. Kerwin Rae believed that discipline isn't about control. It's about teaching children how to think critically and make better decisions.
My goal when I'm disciplining Noah is not to make him wrong, is to make him think. So if he does something wrong, for example, like if he breaks something, or like we will sit down and we've got this process where, you know, going to bed is one thing, but if he hits another child, if he, you know, does something that he really shouldn't do, which is super fucking rare, like I mean rare, we will sit down and I'll go, right, what happened? And he'll explain to me what happened. I'll say, why did you do that? Like, what was driving it? And then I'll say, what do you think you could have done differently? And then after that, we'll go, right, what will you do next time? If you're in the same situation next time, what will you do? And so in that whole process, you know, again, there's levels of discipline. This is like the serious discipline. There's no why, you know, I'm not. Although I'm asking why he feels like he needed to do that, I'm not actually making him feel wrong. I'm just exploring why he did that, what he could have done differently, and what he's going to do next time.
Instead of using punishment, he emphasised the importance of sitting down with children, exploring why they acted in the way they did, and helping them identify better choices for the future. So in your parenting, you could ask questions like, why did you do that? What could you have done differently? And what will you do next time? This approach helps children develop the executive function skills they need to assess consequences and take responsibility for their own actions. Kerwin also stressed the importance of setting clear, consistent boundaries. He explained that boundaries should create safety and trust, not fear or dominance. He stresses that when kids feel safe, they don't need to rebel. They trust you, and that trust becomes the foundation for open communication and mutual respect. By framing boundaries as collaborative agreements rather than imposed rules, children learn to navigate limits without feeling controlled. This approach can nurture independence while maintaining a sense of structure and security. Kerwin's philosophy on personal growth was rooted in accountability for parents and children. He believed that owning your mistakes is one of the most powerful lessons you can teach. If I react poorly, I'll sit down with my son and say, I'm really sorry for raising my voice. That's not how I want to show up as a dad. This kind of apology isn't about guilt. It's about modelling accountability and showing your children that it's okay to admit when you're wrong. He also emphasised the value of creating safe spaces for children to make mistakes.
One of the things I really want you guys to embrace is the importance of mistakes and making them in an intelligent way. Every challenge that you're going to come up against from now on is going to be feedback that is by design there to show you what you need to know. And if you create an environment where you get angry at yourself for making mistakes, or if you resent the mistakes that you make, you're not going to learn. You're going to be constantly resenting the very thing that you need in order to give you the skill, the experience, the knowledge, and you need all of those three.
In other words, every mistake is feedback. It's an opportunity to learn a skill, gain experience, or develop knowledge. By allowing children to make errors within safe boundaries, parents help them build resilience and problem-solving abilities. This kind of environment builds confidence and growth, teaching kids that failure is not something to fear, but a stepping stone to success. This also applies to parents too, of course. We make a ton of mistakes, but modelling how to handle them for your children will teach them the skills needed for personal growth. As Kerwin Rae often emphasised, building trust and connection with your children requires intentional effort and presence. He shared how the realisation of time's true value struck him when he first found out his wife was pregnant with his son.
Any other parent out here knows, if you've got more than one kid, you have no bloody time, but you have to make time. And, you
don't have we don't have a choice.
No.
Yeah, and the thing is, often we hear people use time as an excuse, but it's not until something happens, whether we hear a message, we read a book, or we have a life experience, that we start to realise the value of time, and then all of a sudden time becomes important. Like for me, it was when I found out my wife was pregnant, I literally, for the first probably 10 minutes, I ran around the room screaming like a little banshee. And then I literally sat down, I was like, I need to work out how to prioritise my time so I can become more efficient.
It isn't just about finding time. It's about dedicating your energy and focus to show your children they are your priority. Being patient and present doesn't mean you need to spend endless hours with your kids. It means making the moments you do spend with your children meaningful. Kerwin says you can't manage time, but you can manage energy. When you take care of your physical and emotional health, you're better equipped to show up fully with your kids, whether it's during a car ride, at the dinner table, or while reading a bedtime story. Kerwin also believed that children need to feel deeply valued. Through words and actions, parents can consistently convey that their kids matter. It's in the little things, listening without distraction, affirming their feelings, and showing curiosity about their world. This builds trust over time and creates a foundation where your child knows they are not just loved, but cherished.
Kids especially see emotionally unstable adults as threatening. So if I don't want Noah to do something, I won't go, no. I'll go, no, no, no. But notice I'm not angry, I'm just going, no. And I make a deliberate emphasis on lowering my octave and using tone to communicate. But he knows it's coming from a calm place. versus going up to him going, no, don't do that, no, and smacking him. He'll be just like, what the hell's going on? And all of a sudden, he'll be like, I don't trust you anymore.
When you combine trust and connection with clear communication, emotional intelligence, thoughtful discipline, and creating room for growth, you create a family dynamic that's built to thrive. After all, parenting isn't about perfection, it's about progress. I know these strategies might feel like a lot to take in, especially if you're making big changes in 2025 to how you parent. That's completely normal. You'll probably have days where things don't go as planned and your child might resist at first. That's okay, it's part of the process. The key here is consistency. If you stick with these approaches, you'll start to see the small wins that grow into big changes, and you'll feel the difference in how connected your family becomes. One of the biggest struggles many parents face is managing tantrums, those moments when everything feels out of control. In this video, I'll share the top triggers for toddler tantrums and, more importantly, how to handle them in a way that calms both you and your child. Before you go, if this video gave you any helpful tips, please hit the like button and subscribe. It's the best way to support my channel and make sure you don't miss any future videos.